No, Etta, don't. Hey guys, welcome back. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today I am doing my May wrap-up, I guess. It's going to be a little bit over a week into June when I'm doing this because I like to wait until the very last day of the month before I do my wrap-up to get as many books in as possible. So this is going to be my first wrap-up, so we're just going to get started. Okay. The first book I read in May is Plus One. Some of these books are from the library, so they're going to have shiny covers on them, so just kind of bear with me. This is a dystopian book set in a futuristic, well, sort of futuristic society where half of us live in the daytime and half of us live and work in the nighttime. And if you are in the nighttime, you are not allowed to be in the daytime, and if you are in the daytime, you are not allowed to leave your house in the nighttime. So the I think it's called the, I can't remember what the day people are called, day people maybe, and the smudges, which are the night people, are not allowed to interact. And so this is about a girl whose brother winds up being transferred into a day society, and she is a night society, so she no longer gets to interact with him. He has a baby, and she has a mission to get her grandfather to see the baby before he passes away because her grandfather's kind of sick. No spoilers there. That's all in the very first few pages. And she meets a day boy at a hospital, and a whole day-long adventure ensues. At first, when I read this, I only gave it 2.5 stars or something on Goodreads because I felt like it was a great idea and captivating, but not, I don't know, it didn't draw me in a ton. But the more that I think about this, the more I really enjoyed it. I really liked some relationships that were in this book. I liked some of the characters, and some things surprised me. This is by Elizabeth Fama, who wrote one of the creepy mermaid books that I'm going to talk about soon in an upcoming video. But yeah, overall I like it. I'm not sure if it's good enough for me to purchase. This is one I kind of want to stew on. Okay, the next book I read is The Smoke Thief by Shana Abe, or Shana Abe, I'm not sure. This book, I found The Smoke Thief and The Dream Thief in a 50-cent section in my local bookstore, and these covers are just so beautiful with this gold, and the other one's blue and silver, and they're shiny, and they have dragons. And this was an adult fantasy, and I was really kind of interested in reading it. I haven't read a lot of adult fantasy books. This one I read through really quickly. The writing is very beautiful. It kind of has an old-timey feel to it. Very proper. I don't know how to explain it, but there are a lot of adult-based relationship scenes, we'll put it that way, in here. Some sexy fun times, and they were a little bit more descriptive than I was kind of into at the moment. I feel like sometimes the books can get away with that depending on the plot, and for me it was way more of a romance book than it was a fantasy book, and I was looking more for a fantasy book with some romance added into it. So, and the male character is kind of a jerk, and not even in a good way, like some of our male characters are that we read. So I don't think I'll be reading the second one because there's also 4 more books in this series, and I'm also going to be probably getting rid of this in an unhaul. While I liked it and I did enjoy it while I was reading it, I have no desire to read it again. Alright, and the next group of books that I read, this is the Shatter Me series. So I have Shatter Me, I have Unravel Me, and I have Ignite Me. I haven't read the novellas that go with this. I read these all back to back. I marathoned them in a week, and I loved them. I loved them so much. These are so far in my, I keep kind of a tally for the year of my top 10 favorite books, and these quickly made it very close to the top. I just really enjoyed them. Shatter Me, I enjoyed, and I read it really quickly, but once I got to Unravel Me and Ignite Me, I plowed through them. I love them so much. I want to do a review on them. I know that they're older, but you guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm going to be doing reviews on all kinds of books, old, new, and whatever. The relationships in here are so great. This one is a dystopian series, if you're not familiar with it, based in the future, and it is based on Juliet, and she has kind of a power where if she touches someone long enough, they die, and so they've kind of locked her away, and then the government kind of wants to use her for a weapon, and that's all I'll say. I don't want to give too much away. But there's some romance in here and some twists and some turns. It's not super action based like I was kind of anticipating. This one is a lot more heavy on the romance side as well, and I really enjoyed it though. I liked that. For this one, I felt like it really worked. I enjoyed most of it. Something that I thought was going to happen in this first book, I was not excited for it, and it did happen, and then I was okay with it, and I'll go into that on a review that I make. But I love these, and I have one problem with them, is that I really want to buy these. I like them so much. But the hardcover for Shatter Me looks like this, which is just a terrible, generic, old school YA looking cover. Then they changed them, and they now have these kind of eye ones, but they did not change the hardback. So the Shatter Me in the paperback version has like a cool eye. I don't remember what's on it. This one has like a frost kind of thing, and this one's got like a floral thing. I don't remember what the paperback is, but I really prefer to own hardbacks, and I don't know if I've got to wait and hope they change the first book in the series, because now I know that they're coming out with 3 more, which I'm so excited about for next year. But I really want to own them, but I don't want them to not match, and I don't want the paperbacks, so I'm kind of torn. But you guys tell me in the comments what you think about that. Okay, so after I come off a really good series like that, I don't like to dive like right into another big kind of epic fantasy YA dystopian series, because I kind of think that takes away from the last book that you just read. So I went for a contemporary read that I purchased in April, and this is Peaches by Jodi Lynn Anderson, who wrote Tiger Lily, which is on my TBR list thanks to Margot Wood over at Epic Reads. And this one is kind of reminiscent of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This is about 3 girls, and they wind up working on a peach farm, and they kind of develop friendships, and there's some romance and some things that happen. Really heavy on the friendship aspect, which I really liked. At first, it took me a little bit to kind of get into this, probably because I came off my like fantasy dystopian high, but I did actually really enjoy it. I do want to read the other 2 books that are in this series. I just don't want to read them right this second because I have a lot of things that I want to finish, but I did really enjoy it, and I'm going to keep this one that I purchased and make a home for it, probably next to my Amber Shares books. Okay, next up, usually I read a mermaid book. I usually read 2 books at once. I read my main book that I read all the time, like in bed or in car rides or whatever, and then I read a mermaid or like an ocean themed book while I am getting sunshine by the pool or at the beach, or whenever I'm able to do that for fun. We live in California, so we do that a lot. So my mermaid read for this month was Mare. This is by Anata Braxton Smith. This one has a lot of like mermaid folklore and mystery, and it's set on an island, and it's very like enchanting. This one also reads kind of like old school. It was really good. Not my favorite of all time. There were some things in here that were very interesting, very fun, but I did really enjoy it, and it was really well written. Probably one that I won't see myself like reading again, but I would probably still recommend it. So stay tuned for that. Okay, now we're getting into the controversial part of my May wrap up, and you guys are gonna have to bear with me and don't hate me because I'm new to booktube and I need people to be nice to me. But the next book that I read, I decided to pick a book for me and my husband Jeff to read together. That book is going to be Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. Okay, this one has been like a favorite of a lot of people, and I am not going to go very into depth on it because I think Jeff and I are going to film a video on this book separately, because I have a lot to say, and normally I am very easy to please. I don't go into a book trying to judge it. I don't look for flaws. I only notice them if they kind of jump out at me, and I don't like to pick apart other people's work because I try to do some writing too, and I know how hard that is. but I really need to discuss this book some more. So stay tuned for a little Not a Drop to Drink book that me and Jeff are probably gonna do together. And I warn you now that he might be really harsh, so don't be mean to him because he's like the nicest guy in the entire world. But I'm gonna talk more about this later. The last book that I read in May, and secretly just finished like a couple days ago in June, but we'll count it, is Passenger by Alexander Bracken. I picked up this in a big like library book haul where I picked up a bunch of like popular books that I was behind on. Now I had a few problems with this one, like a couple of things. One, this is a 500 page book, which is fine, but for it being a 500 page book for the first book was intimidating to me. I read plenty of 500, 600 page books, but they're usually not the first one in a duology or in a series, and so I think that kind of intimidated me because I was getting to the end of May and I wanted to finish this so that I could start Mermaid Marathon in June. So that one kind of bummed me out. It took me a long time to get interested in it. I didn't like hate it, but I just wasn't like flying through it like I did some of my other books or even reading it very fast at all. So I started listening to this on audiobook while I would drive to my parents or just drive to work or whatever. And at first I thought the lady that was doing the audiobook was good, and then I realized that she's like not very good at doing male voices, and she made Nicholas kind of sound like this. No, Etta, don't. And it was, I think, more dramatic than it was supposed to be. It made it feel slower to me, and then I would bounce back and forth and read it, and I just got this whole mixed opinion about this book because to me it was kind of boring, and then the audiobook made it even more boring, and I kind of just like forced myself to finish it, but then like the last hour of the audiobook was actually really good, and it made me kind of want to read the next one, but I really don't think I liked it very much. But I don't know if I kind of ruined myself by getting intimidated by the size and by trying to do audio and reading at the same time. So don't hate me. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of Passenger, and I'm not sure if I'm going to read Wayfarer, but I'm not going to be doing a review on this, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it on here. But yeah. Those are the 9 books that I read in May. I'm not going to let you know what I'm reading in June because I did a whole video on it called Mermaid Marathon, and that is going to be linked down below, and I also have it in my, I think, my TBR playlists or whatever like that. Hope you guys are going to join me for Mermaid Marathon because it's going to be really fun, and I'm sorry this video is so late, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next time on the bright side. Bye!